all by myself anymore. All by myself.
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
The guys and gal.
And welcome everybody to our Daily Gun Show. We come to you live every day at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's 4 Pacific for about an hour and 90 minutes each day. We do 3 gun-related topics each day, different topics throughout the week. We run it live on YouTube and simulcast it over at gunchannels.com, where we're watching the comments that are coming in from everybody that's watching the show live. Let's see, we take the audio every once in a while and post it as a podcast over on iTunes. So we appreciate everybody who leaves us some comments or likes or subscribes the channel, whatever platform it might be on. That lets us know where people are and hopefully recommends the show to more listeners, and that's one of our goals. So nobody here today, it's just me. There's 4 hosts normally, but I guess there's some open slots. So if anybody wants to come in here and be a here today, it's just me. There's 4 hosts, then let me know. Otherwise, it'll probably end up being a short show because I just agree with myself a lot, and then it ends. So let's see. Today's Friday. It sucks too. See, this is why nobody showed up, because it's episode 380. It's not a big enough caliber for these guys. Dano, it's all hardened up, trained up now, so he doesn't shoot anything less than like 40 probably. Bob can't handle anything small like that. He can't see it. He needs to put on his glasses. And Smeggy doesn't understand calibers. So I guess they just all decided not to show up today. Let's see. So gun cleaning stuff will be our first topic today. And then we'll move into the gun biz, where we solve the gun business and gun industry. And then we'll talk about alternative gun topics. I probably can do all these before 409, which is a fantastic cleaner. It can be used for kitchen or bathroom. Oh, Smeggy's here.
Hey, how's it going? Sorry, I'm a tad bit late.
Oh, I was saying, since it was myself, I was going to try to finish the show by 409 because of the cleaner.
Oh, okay. Well, don't let me get in the way of, completely blowing the show through in 2 seconds.
Well, that would give me like 3 more minutes, really. But I guess since you showed up, we could probably do the show. Normal pace. So I'm going to be on the Hank Strange show later on today. So that's good, because otherwise I would have been bored waiting around for that to start. I did put the invitation out there to anybody that wants to join in, be Bob or be Dano today. Let us know. Get a link over on Gun Channels.
So, all right, did you already go over anything that happened previously? I was completely out of it yesterday, so I have no idea what happened.
Yesterday was Thursday, so it was our show, and then Matt told everybody that he was going to do a show about Robotech on Friday, today, but then he did it yesterday, right after. Like, it must have been while our show was still going on. And then, so I barely figured out what was going on, and his show was already over. And then I think Yankee does a show, but he never posted anywhere, so it's hard to know. And then Clover Tech had a show, of course. And I don't know what happened after that. So I'm not sure how late the lobby went on last night. Maybe somebody will let us know.
Yeah, I don't know. I know I started up right around when Clover Tech was starting his up, so no one joined in for a while. And at some point in the middle of the night, I woke up and looked at my computer, and there was like 3 or 4 people in there. So people did join at some. I have no idea what time it was, though. I was
listening to it for a while, and then I forgot to tack that he did a show last night too.
Oh, whatever, dude. Anyways, yeah. Okay, cool. So I guess stuff happened even in my absence, stuff happens. That's kind of, it blows my mind.
Mhm.
I'm like a baby. Like if I go to sleep or close my eyes, I just assume the whole world ceases to exist.
Clay is saying simple green is the best cleaner. I don't like simple green. I think it's got pine in it, and that seems a little Canadian to me. I like the citrus cleaners, the oranges and the lemons.
I feel like those are too harsh on your hands. They tend to dry my hands out more.
So you're more with the pine?
No. I like dirt and sand.
All right.
You know,
Well,
like an old camping like cast iron thing. Or you don't really need to clean it. You just kind of rub some dirt on it to get the big chunks off and you're good to go.
rinse it off, put salt on it. All right. So that's going to take us into our first topic,
Oh yeah, we're doing something. I forgot.
which is gun stuff, gun cleaning stuff. So, what is going on? Something's happening with something in my machine here. So, I will attend to that. And what is going on? So, let me unplug this. That unplugs my mouse though too, I think. All right. So,
A good timely topic. I just cleaned my guns earlier today from my weekend trip.
what is beeping? Is it this one? Sorry, one of my USB devices is freaking out. It's the one that's attached to like 4 drives. All right, so I think I figured it out, and I will address that later. So I was trying. Is that your computer now? So I usually just use whatever is free or whatever I can get cheap, like that's been half used or something at a gun show or a gun shop or something, and I just accumulate it and use whatever. So that's worked for me.
Yeah, I got a bottle of the Rand brand CLP like way back in the day when Shooter's Mindset was first starting up. They used to do giveaways every week, and I won one of their giveaways. It was actually when they had the Nubs no-handed shooter. If anyone knows him, this guy's awesome. His hands are like messed up, but he shoots competitively, and he's really freaking good. So I just like his whole story. He's a cool guy. But anyways, I got like a t-shirt of his and a bunch of other stuff, and I got a bottle of that Rand CLP. And I've been using it for years. It's like a never-ending bottle. So I do like using that stuff.
Yeah, that stuff works pretty good. Cleaner, lubricant, protective.
Right. Well, that's what I like, because then, I clean all the stuff up, and then when I'm putting the stuff back together, since the rag still has like some juice on it, I just kind of wipe it all down on the outside, get all the fingerprints off, and then put it away. So I like the protectant part of it too. But I don't know. I didn't do I never do a super crazy cleaning job. I always just kind of wipe the big stuff off, lube it up, and call it a day. In fact, that Kel-Tec I didn't even take apart today. I just ran a bore snake through it and kind of wiped down what I could reach. I didn't feel like taking it all apart. So I'm sure it'll be fine.
Of course, probably something should be said about I live in the desert, so I don't have to worry about rust really. Up north, I imagine you guys have to worry more about that. Putting something away wet could literally be putting it away to get rusty.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, moisture's a big deal, and that's one of the things. I forget when I heard this, but it makes sense to me. I had never known it at the time. Is putting your guns away, like putting them in like a gun case or something, and then putting it, with the foam. That stuff holds from the air, like right up against your gun. It's a bad thing to do.
Yep.
And I did not know that for a while. So that was good for me to learn. And I remember, that's why I started telling the story. So my buddy, he actually did that with his guns. He doesn't even shoot them all that often. but he put them away in like, gun cases, some hard cases, some soft. He's got a couple of each. And a while back, he brought all his guns over to my house because he was having work done at his house, and he doesn't have a gun safe. So he's like, I don't want random people in my house with these things like in the closet. So when he took them over, I was taking them out of the case, just kind of looking at them, and they all had surface rust on them. So I cleaned it up for him because I'm a nice friend. But I was like, dude, you can't, wherever you were keeping these, don't keep them there anymore because it's obviously like a humid closet or something. And maybe he put them away, without cleaning them or something. I don't know.
Well, you can put them away by just not wiping them off and having the oil on your fingers will rust little fingers, finger marks all over it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So that's, like I said, so I don't know. I know when I clean, I have an old t-shirt. And so as I'm cleaning, I'll like, grab the gun through the t-shirt so that I'm not like after I've cleaned like the bottom part, then I hold that with the t-shirt and I clean the top part and then I go and set it down. So that way my fingers are never touching it after I've cleaned. I should probably get some gloves. I know I've seen you wear gloves and stuff before. I don't. But I should probably get into that habit. It's good for your health, too, keeping crap off your fingers.
Yeah, and it's just, if you're going to be doing a bunch of it, saves you from washing your hands a lot. Like, say, rub the skin off your hands trying to get clean after. So on the gun channel side, everybody's saying Ballistol. I'm not a big fan of Ballistol. Ballistol is just fish oil or something, I think. It's like WD-40.
Is that like just for cleaning? So like you spray all that stuff in and you clean it, but then you still have to oil it afterwards? Am I correct with that?
I don't know. Looking it up.
Yeah, and Arson Tony's saying when he was a teen, WD-40 was the thing. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't recommend using WD-40. It keeps water away, but it's not really. It's not designed for that.
It says more than 100 years, customers have trusted Ballistol to lubricate, penetrate, clean, protect, and preserve their firearms, leather, gear, wood, metal, surfaces, and more. Their goal is to make an oil that can be used on everything. Yeah, I just never got into it. It was all old people that used it, so I never bothered. And it used to be the kind of thing you only see it at certain stores, or you have to get it online or something. It might be around more now.
I'm not sure how WD-40 has outsold me, but okay. And don't get me wrong, I love WD-40, just not for guns. I use it in a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, you get the gums up everything.
I've heard a saying one time that there are, two types of things in the world: things that are stuck and things that are unstuck. And if they're stuck and supposed to be unstuck, use WD-40. If they're unstuck and supposed to be stuck, duct tape. I think that's a pretty good way of looking at life, I guess. a lot of hoppies. People saying lots of stuff about hoppies. I don't really use that either. Because I'm more like you, G-Webs. I use just what I've had. And like I said, I got that Rand stuff a long time ago, and it's lasted me.
See, it depends on what you're shooting, too. If you're shooting 22 with lead bullets, and that's accumulating in your barrel, then you're going to have to get in there with something and clean it up. Because those little tiny 22 barrels are small, and they can accumulate pretty quick. If you're shooting metal jacketed or copper jacketed rounds out of a 9mm with a giant barrel that doesn't get clogged, it's only 4 inches long, you're barely providing maintenance to that barrel. Again, a long rifle barrel that you're shooting your own lead out of, which is maybe softer than fancy store-bought lead, you might be spending a lot more time cleaning that barrel. And that's where hoppies and that kind of shit comes in. 22 ammo, super filthy, just the powder burning all over the place and small, not great tolerances sometimes. Filthy ammo, so the hoppy is good for cleaning all that, but then it offers no lubrication and no real protectorant. It's just a solvent. It's just a cleaner. So if anything, it leaves your metal at risk, right? It cleans all the goop out of the barrel, but then it evaporates and it leaves your metal raw. So you want to put something on it to fill all the gaps and nooks and crannies with oil, so that the water can't accumulate there. So I'd say hops by itself is just a solvent. You'd want to then oil it up after, depending on where you live. Will you ever use the lead removers? Have you had to use that?
No.
So again, when you're talking 22 rifle barrels, usually it's where I find it, or sometimes on 22 revolver barrels too. But whenever you're shooting just plain old lead 22, like I say, it'll start to accumulate in the barrel and the rifling. So you can scrape that stuff all day, literally trying to physically do it with a rod or with a brush. And it'll eventually come out with a brush and solvent. Most of the time, I think you're physically removing some of the lead so that the brush can physically flake off the lead. But there's some green stuff, some chemical lead remover and copper remover that'll go in there and basically dissolve it. And I don't know, it's probably not good for the steel, but it dissolves the lead way faster. And then some of that can be useful if you're struggling with a lot of lead removal or copper removal.
Yeah, I remember someone talking about that with shotguns, because they were shooting a bunch of just like lead pellets or whatever, and that stuff, it's kind of like what you're talking about. It's just that raw lead, so it scrapes off and gets in there, and but it's still, I forget where I heard that. Someone was talking about it, but it still builds up. So they were talking about using some type of lead remover, and they soak it for a while and then clean it out and all that.
So then what about the vibration thing, the sonic cleaners? Used them?
I've never used them for gun stuff, but it seems like it would work pretty good.
Yeah, Bob uses them on old guns. Not our Bob from Tucson Guns. I've seen him put old guns into them and stuff, and it's kind of neat. Sometimes you don't have to take something apart. You can clean it still.
I hope you're joking, Clover Tack. He says he just uses mercury, takes the lead right out.
Well, there you go.
Do you roll it around in your hand afterwards because it puddles up and it looks cool?
They were talking about it on one of the chats. I remember when the other day though, and was it Night Strike? Somebody was like, I went and changed the thermostat and it had a thing of mercury in it, and everybody in the chat was like, oh, like they'd never seen mercury or nothing before. And then they were like, oh, I hope you disposed of that. I'm like, what the hell? You could basically drink that mercury and not die from it. It takes a while to accumulate a bunch of it.
Okay, so he isn't joking. In that case, I just do hope you're safe with the mercury. Although that might explain why you're a little crazy. Yes, it takes time, but it will make you crazy.
They used to just pass that stuff out in school and kids would play with it. It's not like everybody becomes immediately crazy as soon as they come in contact with mercury. But it does accumulate, so.
Right. You probably don't want to just dump it down your drain or something. That's probably bad for the fishies.
Well, plus you'd be wasting it. You can't just go get mercury all that many places anymore. So it's definitely worth holding on to it and playing with it, and showing it to kids and stuff, letting them put it in their hands and taste it.
Taste it. Oh, Jesus.
You can't help it. It looks like. So why wouldn't you taste it?
Oh, Jesus. So anyways, I think the moral of the story is everyone has a lot of different cleaning methods. Like I said, I'm not super crazy about it. I just kind of wipe the stuff down and call it a day. I'd rather just lube over dirt than sit there and scrub it for 5 hours.
All right. Well, we've talked about this one before. I'm sure we'll talk about it again. It's one of those things that, it's probably could be done fairly periodically since there's so much to it. So if anybody has a specific area of gun cleaning or something that we might have touched on that you think would be worth going into more detail or something, then let us know. So you can email us at dailygunshow@gmail.com and sit in on one of the scheduling shows. We have a Patreon, and we use that to keep in touch with our the show supporters that want to keep or help support help guide the discussions and the topics. So I guess with that, we'll move into the gun biz. We'll solve the gun industry again. Seems like every week we got to keep solving a portion of it, but we're willing to do it. Today we're going to solve helping first-time buyers. So that's easy. But I guess before we do, we're going to take a break and feature one of the members over at Gun Channels. I guess we know why Smeggy showed up today. We like to feature one of the members over at Gun Channels every day. Gun Channels is a place we built, focused on firearms. It's a community focused on firearms. Lots of stuff to do over there. Lots of people to meet. And every day we'd like to feature one of the members. And today it is Smeggy, one of our hosts of our show here. And participate quite a bit over there. And that's why we built the place, for people that want to be part of the new media and part of the, I don't know, efforts towards keeping the Second Amendment alive.
I guess. I don't know. I think that guy's kind of a jerk, but that's just my opinion.
But I don't know, there was a theme this week. I don't know if anybody figured it out. We had Smeggy. Let's see, I have to go back over here. Scroll way down, I think. So we had Smeggy today. We had Bob yesterday, Marco the day before. And then I don't know who the other two were. So I don't know if anybody come up with a theme to that. And we'll keep going. So we're going to solve, oh, gotta go back over here. We're going to solve the gun business today, specifically helping first-time buyers. I'm guessing that means gun buyers?
Probably.
So I don't know. We've done this one before. My answer is buy Glock 19. Done. We've helped them. They bought their first gun.
Yeah, and you actually do make a pretty compelling case for that, but you still haven't convinced me. So I'm still of the mindset you at least have to try and figure out why are they getting it, what are they doing, and then go from there.
Start to confuse them, make sure that they realize.
No. That's like saying, okay, I want to buy a car. Someone says, oh, buy a Honda Civic. Well, are you doing it because you want to get to and from work? Are you doing it because you want to drive long distances? Are you doing it because you got to haul stuff? I mean, you at least have to kind of know what you're using it for.
All right.
And so, no, I mean, that's just, but I do agree with you as far as, I think this came up when Sean was talking about, I'd show them this, then this, then I'd get this one, then this one, then this one. And I do agree that you can overwhelm someone very easily. And then they're going to sit there and go, oh, this is way too confusing. I guess I'm not ready. And some people, they don't want to do a million hours of research. They asked you because you're, I don't know, like an expert or someone who
guiding them.
You're supposed to, yeah, you're supposed to help them with, this is what you basically want. And then they can take that information and do with what they want. But I don't know. So I think that you can there's a midpoint in between the two of don't give them every single option in the world, because some people, they don't want to do that. Some people do want to do all their research. I'm that type of person. So I knew before I even bought my first gun, I already knew what I wanted, and I had already narrowed it down from a bunch of other stuff, and I did look at all the facts about everything and figure that stuff out. Other people don't want to do that. So I agree somewhat to your approach, just not 100%.
So Pink suggested it was members who have met my dog, and I guess that's true.
Yeah, depending on what the other two people were.
Bob and Marco.
No, but I mean like of the other one. So of those three, yeah. But
the other two, I think we just randomly did this week.
Oh, okay. So just the last three have things. Okay, you win, Pink. I guess that's a theme. I don't know if that's the right theme or not, but anyways, I don't know, and that's I guess I'm looking at the first time buyer. I think I might have even been the one who put this in here because not necessarily from the gun store point of view, but from a gun enthusiast and having a friend who's not really into it ask you about it. And I personally had that happen. A guy I work with said, "Hey, I'm thinking about getting a gun, for home protection, but also I think it'd be a fun hobby for me and my wife to do." And so I was kind of struggling with, okay, what do I tell him? And obviously we know G's advice is just give him a Glock 19 and call it a day. But I went with the more, well, let's go to the range and shoot a bunch of different shit, and then you'll figure out which one you like better.
Well, I think then if you're going to go that route, you want to sit them down with, I don't know, nobody's coming from zero. So I guess you could start at a range where there's some rental guns, ideally one where you pay the $7 and then you keep swapping it out. So it's not like you're racking up a big bill.
Right. And that's the one near me. We can do that. So that's personally, that works out pretty good.
So I'd probably start with a rimfire revolver, a 22 revolver. And then that way there's no recoil and no noise really. And then you see what a stupid rimfire is. And then you explain a revolver to them. And then go to like a Glock 19 or something, and then have them look, I guess, at some other stuff, but then probably go to like a 45, and then down to I don't know, maybe one of them subcompact ones, so that they start to feel some of the different frames, size frames.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and that's kind of how I approached it. I gave him a quick little rundown just because we were in the field at work waiting for stuff, so we had time to talk. And I told him there's a couple different categories and then different brands, inside that category. But you have like full size, compact, revolver.
So again, I still think that's not necessarily good advice, because now you're saying, taking it back to your car thing. I need a car. Okay, so what do you need your car for? Okay, going to work, and then on the weekends I want to go play. Okay, so then and then you give them like 8 cars. So you're basically ruling out like some, but you're still going to end up giving them a big pile. So let's say you go back to guns again and you have them shoot a bunch of different guns. Okay, now you know what a revolver is. Now you know what a semi-auto is. Now you've looked at some different ones, various on the different scale of size and caliber, maybe operation, materials, color, even whatever the things are that they liked, and then they pick one. What's the odds that they're going to pick something decent? So now they're going to pick something stupid, like Taurus something or another, or something stupid. And then what are you going to go, yay, there's your first gun. I just counseled you to buy something stupid. So I still say, like Tony's saying, there's no absolutes. It's just opinions. If someone's coming to you as a favor and saying, hey, I acknowledge that you are familiar with this topic and I want to start somewhere, where's a good place to start? I think I'd still fall back to, let's start with a Glock 19. What's the worst that happens? They go, I completely hate this gun for all these different reasons. I need to go a different way. Then you sell the Glock 19 at what, $100 loss, a couple $100 loss at the most, and they've experienced a gun. They got into it. So I just don't see it being a bottomless pit type of gun that they're gonna, they're gonna suffer through or something. It's easily remove. You can move it along just as easily as you can obtain it.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying on that. I just still don't fully agree, which that's fine. We can have different opinions.
I don't know. I guess if you don't mind one of your good friends, trusted ally, buying some weak sauce and then being all proud of it, going around telling people, Smeggy helped me buy this. Smeggy counseled me to buy this.
Well, when they come up to me and tell me, oh, I'm going to get this little subcompact car, I'm going to be like, no, that's dumb. And I'll get them into something good.
All right. So you're going to let them look all around and then steer them into the Glock 19.
I don't know about that. CZs are pretty cool.
That's why you're leaving it open, because you would replace it if I would have said CZ.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm thinking of getting a CZ75. Okay, done. You win.
I'm thinking about getting a gun. Did you say CZ75? Well, what is that? Yeah, that's what you said.
Hey, everyone who shot mine when I hung out with the guys a couple weeks ago, they all said they liked it.
Everybody likes a gun that somebody else takes home. That's like everybody likes everybody else's baby.
Well, it's not true. There were some ugly ass babies out there.
Yeah, but nobody's gonna go, I don't like this gun. This gun, I don't like this gun. Take your gun away from me. So that's always okay.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know. Did we solve the gun industry? I guess we sold a bunch of Glock 19 so far. And like I said, I do understand your point of not overwhelming. I completely take that to heart, and I have changed my approach since last time we had talked because of that. Because I realize not everyone is like me. I'm the type of person, if that happened to me and I said, hey, I'm thinking of getting a gun, and someone's like, yeah, Glock 19. That's all that matters. I'd be like, well, that wasn't very helpful. And I'd be feeling like I didn't get any valuable information out of it.
Okay, so then that's just the way that they explain it to you. So if you said, I'm looking for a gun, I don't know anything about them, and you said to them, all right, so there's lots of things to keep in mind, from the type of gun, like a revolver, to a pistol, right? To different types of materials, like the old 1911s were made out of almost all metal with some wood grips on them, to the new guns are almost all plastic with some crucial metal parts on them. You've got different calibers, from little tiny things that are, good for being cheap and anybody can shoot them and they're not real noisy, all the way up to real big stuff that's hard to control, but it's almost a challenge and people really like them. And then your stuff that's in the middle. So if we're going to talk about all the different range of everything, 9mm is a caliber of bullet that's super common. It's right in the middle. It's almost available everywhere. There's everywhere from really inexpensive plinking ammo to reloads and just inexpensive partial boxes and stuff. It's a real common ammunition, all the way up to the most advanced technology and projectiles are always incorporated in the 9mm as well. So you've got a pretty good baseline in the 9mm caliber. So let's look at guns in that caliber. You got some revolvers, but let's look at pistols, since revolvers are kind of specific and require a lot of manipulation that can be unique to the gun. If you want to stay more in the middle, kind of mainline to start out, you're this hobby, then let's go with a pistol. Let's go with one that's common and available and not one of the extremes. Let's go with one that's a good size, not the biggest one like what a cop would carry, and not the smallest thing that like a detective would carry on their ankle. Let's go with something that's a comfortable size for any shooter, no matter what hand size, and it's not so heavy to hold up even when it's fully loaded. Now, if you needed to, you could carry this thing around with you as a concealed carry gun, or when you're out hunting or something, you could easily take it with you in the vehicle or leave it at the bedside. You can still attach something like an accessory, like a light to it, because it has an accessory rail. And then you can get magazines and other parts for it pretty much everywhere. Oh, what do you know? It's a Glock 19.
So, that sounds like a CZ to me.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. So if you buy Glock 19, you're good to go. But if you explain why you're picking a Glock 19, because it's basically the gold standard, it's the middle of all guns. Everything is from some direction from a Glock 19 at this point. So the best possible answer. And then, like I say, resale and everything, if they really hate it for some reason, the worst that happens is they say, I started out buying a Glock and now this is why I hate them, because I owned one and this is all the reasons why I hate one. But at least you've given them the ability to say they owned one. And that would be if they completely hate him, if they're like Bob. Because Bob can't even say that he's ever owned one. Let's see. So,
okay.
Helping first-time buyers. I can't say that I've seen too much help. Like, there's not any campaigns or anything. There's stuff to like lock up your guns. There's stuff to like keep your guns away from kids and that kind of thing. But I've never seen a campaign on like buying your first gun or whatever. I think buying your first gun, though, is a tough one. There's some adults who are doing it, but I think a lot of times your first gun is given to you by your parents or your grandparents.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, there is that whole part of it too, is that there's a lot of people that got into guns because their family was into them. And that's what happened to me. I was shooting when I was a kid, but my dad is by no means like a gun guy. Like he had a few type of thing. So when I was looking for my stuff, there wasn't much help going to him because he's like, I don't know, they're like cool or something. So, but I don't know. I don't really know where I was going with that. But yeah, there's some people that just get into it, so they already at least kind of know all the basics, and then they can go from there. And like you said, you make a pretty compelling case for a Glock 19. I do agree that you do a pretty good job with that. But if it's some adult who just has never had guns before and is just now starting to get into them, I think they're in a different situation than a kid who's probably tried a few different types, and his first gun is his first gun because that's what, his like you said, his grandpa gave him, or his dad gave him, or his mom gave him. Let's not be sexist here.
Or gave her then. Sexist.
Oh, that's you got me. I was projecting and thinking of myself.
All right. Well, I think we have solved all first-time gun buyers. So there you go. And you know what I'm extra glad about? 1022 never came up. That's a horrible first-time gun. Horrible gun.
Even for a little kid though, if we're talking that.
Yes.
Okay, so real super quick then, what's your equivalent Glock 19 for, a kid shooting?
Any little kid should start off with either a Cricket or one of the other Savages or something equivalent, single shot 22. Little kid size.
A little single shot 22, okay.
Little kid one. Then theirs. Every kid gets their own, none of this hand-me-down garbage. This is America.
Yes, I guess I have a different gun experience because my first gun that was given to me was a Beretta semi-automatic shotgun. And it was all because I asked my dad to fix a pellet gun that he had from when he was a kid that didn't hold pressure. It was one of those, you pumped it like 10 times or whatever. Like it wasn't just a one pump thing. You had to like keep pumping the handle. And if you pumped it real quick and shot it right away, it would work. If you waited any amount of time to try and aim or anything, it didn't have enough pressure because the seals were all leaking. And somehow his thought process went from fixing that to just buying me a 12 gauge shotgun.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I don't count BB guns as guns for like being their first gun or anything like that. So CloverTac is saying that not a Cricket. I think that's what he's saying.
Oh, because the cocking mechanism is stupid?
Maybe. I'm not sure. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, that's true. And that's why I kind of hesitate. Crickets are cool, but they are goofy, and for some reason they make them real crude. But there have been nicer ones. You can get Remington bolt actions that are super, super nice. But I was also going to say there should be a little Cricket-size black powder gun. Why isn't there a Cricket-sized black powder gun? That would be awesome. Like 20-inch long rifle for a little kid, so they don't have to learn how to stuff it and shoot it. That would be super cool. Like a half.
Yeah, because who doesn't want to shoot a black powder? I mean, I remember as a kid, like that was just cool.
Oh heck yeah!
Loading up a black powder.
And then for like backyard or whatever, they could just throw a couple of BBs in there instead of a ball, and then just have a little tiny black powder shotgun. They should make that. I don't know why they don't make that.
Man, we're solving the gun industry all over again.
Yep.
Now we solved the manufacturing side of it.
To manufacture the first kids' guns. Kids' first gun. All right, so then we should do that as a topic someday. Like, what is your kid's first gun going to be and why? Or what was your kid's first gun and why? Hopefully people are doing that deliberately. I'm going to put that in here, kids. First. Okay. So I think more kids need to get guns right when they're born. So again, I'm waiting for them.
Someone was talking about that.
I would think with the price of ARs now, kids should have at least lower sitting there waiting for them.
Yeah, and then as they get older, build it up with them.
Dusty's talking about.
I have that experience from the opposite direction. Me and my dad built an AR last year, and it was a good, father-son bonding. But it was me teaching him how to do it. But still, it's anytime you do stuff with your family, I think that's important. Those are the memories you can't get back, man.
That's better than a lot of hobbies because you're doing it there at a kitchen table kind of thing, and at any time, and then it creates a thing that gets you out of the house and you go shooting with. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So Dusty's talking about his first gun after BB gun was a Marlin 22 at 13, and then a shotgun at 16. That's what I was going to say is I don't count the BB guns because the guns were the ones you couldn't just go take out in the yard or whatever, at least for me. Like the BB guns were more like toys or whatever. You could take them out and shoot them, but guns you had to go to the range. I've seen 32 caliber youth black powder rifles before. I'll be searching for that right now. Thanks. That sounds super cool. Need to see one next to something else for scale. Looks like they're little kits. All right, well, I'll continue to research that, and I guess we'll keep going with what do we want to do next. And we don't have anything in here. I'm not allowed to do that. We can do gun history, I guess, if there's any gun history today.
Yeah, let's look at the history for the day.
Looking through here.
Anything? Anything at all?
1942, Japan sends a crack army to Guadalcanal to repulse the U.S. Marines fighting there. So they were already using crack back then. Nah, there's nothing really good. Just a bunch of regular stuff, but nothing gun related really. See who's born today. I think there was some people born today. Maybe not. Patrick Swayze and Christian Slater. Okay, so nothing else all that awesome in history. Sorry to waste everybody's time with that one. Sometimes there's something good in there. I guess, should we do that one as the gun of the day?
I don't know. Sure.
No, we can't. Today is, we have to do a very special gun of the day because it's episode 380.
Oh. It's episode 380. Hot diggity darn.
So we've been sitting around here not addressing the fact that 380 is one of the coolest calibers ever. So, oops, what the heck?
Is it one of the coolest calibers ever?
Yeah, it was invented by Browning. So that makes it pretty awesome. And let's see, Wikipedia.
I just figured, I mean, for like as much as you hate 9mm, and 380 is just like a small 9mm, how can you say it's the best ever?
No, Browning invented the 380, so it's an American caliber, invented in 1908, made for the 1908 pocket hammerless, and that was a little tiny, well, fairly small gun. Let's see, derived from Browning's earlier 9x20 semi-rimmed, which I guess didn't take off very well. Let's see. Less stopping power than other modern pistol cartridges. Sada Yub says some experts say it's barely adequate. But I was going to use the gun of the day. I still want, yeah. Go to look on my YouTube over here. And one of my favorite guns is the Mac 11, the real Mac 11, not the stupid 9mm Mac 11. And that's a 380, so I was going to make that the gun of the day today. I think I probably have a video of it in here somewhere.
Ooh, and all these people thinking it was going to be a PPK.
PPK.
That's what everyone, as soon as you said it's episode 380, all these people are like, PPKs, PPK.
Let's take a look at it.
Someone has a quote, if this damn PPK jams one more time, it's history.
380.
I don't know why that's in quotes, but okay, let's talk about a good 380.
Open bolt pistol. So unlike its big brother, the Select Fire, which would have a little Select Fire selector over here to make it full auto, this is the open bolt semi-auto model. So that means that right now it's not open. You can lock it back without a mag or anything to hold it back because this is a open bolt model. So the bolt face has a fixed firing pin, and as it drops forward when you pull the trigger, it will knock a round off, blow back, will stop it back to that position. It's got an awesome mag because they're made for full autos. I don't even know how many that is, probably more than 30. And just a heck of an awesome gun, made by Ingram back in the day. Super simple design, much like an AK. It's just a bunch of mostly flat metal folded into shape. There's just a couple of trunnions and there are some internal parts, but a very simple gun to make. Elegant design, in my opinion. This one is the perfect size, and just you can't even imagine how fun these are to shoot. They're more fun in full auto, but if you don't have full auto, open bolt semi-auto is your next best bet. These were deemed too easy to convert back in the day, so they don't allow them to make open bolt pistols anymore. So it's a bit of a collector's piece. Looks super awesome. It's fun to shoot, and just for me, everything I look for in a firearm. It's fairly practical, yet 100% awesome. So let us know what you think of the Mac 10s, Mac 11s, the 380 ACP caliber, and doing small or short videos like this, going through the collection. We'll stay tuned to the comments, and as always, thanks for watching.
Did that work? Did the audio work?
Yeah, I heard it fine.
Oh, goodness.
So, yeah, that's pretty neat. I would like to shoot one of those at some point in my life. I don't know where I could find one, but if I ever see one like at a rental place, or if I am ever out shooting with someone that has one, I'll be like, hey, mind if I shoot that?
Yeah, I'd suggest it. It's neat because it's open bolt, so it fires as the bolt mass goes forward, which I guess is normal. But I don't know, I guess no, it's not. Normally the bolt thing goes forward and then the firing pin slams forward, so you don't really get a change in mass in the gun. So you're talking about an metal channel, hollow metal gutter, basically, with a big piece of mass. Most of the mass of the gun moving back and forth inside of it. So yeah, it's got a really neat recoil impulse, I guess what you call it. So yeah, really neat to shoot, and if you can get it to bump fire, it just shoots out of there, just streams out of there. So really neat to shoot those compared to the 45, which is like shooting a Thompson. It's a little slower, and a little bit more dwell, bigger mass, and it moves more deliberately, less flow. Anyway, 380 is a cool cartridge, and there's quite a few guns. It almost was a cool caliber there for a minute, and then they started making 9mm smaller. Stupid 9mm. But in the early 2004s era, the 380 was about to be the next big thing. It was winning against the 32, which was his competition, and the 9s, they just couldn't make them small yet. But then they figured out how to make 9s smaller by making the bullet even more wimpy. And then it somehow snuck in and took an American cartridge out.
Your hatred for 9 just, I just love it.
Just facts here. Nobody's getting paid by the big 9mm like some of your other channels, some of your other live shows. Speaking of other live shows, I'm going to be on Hank Strange's show. I don't know if it's going to be in 8 minutes and I'm late, or if it's going to be an hour and 8 minutes. I guess I'll open up an email and find out here. But I'm going to be on his podcast.
Snap.
So yeah, it turns out he does a podcast the exact same time as we do a podcast every single day. So he's cheating. He's copying off us.
Oh, man. That's okay. There's room in the world for all of us.
Or two. That's it. Two. So if anybody else has any bright ideas, give them yourself. Make your own time for your own podcast. Let's see. Squib is saying I got to shoot a SIG 1911. Sig Sawyer paid for the range time and ammo. Customer Appreciation Day at the range. Is that by you?
Probably within. It's got to be within an hour drive. Yeah, he didn't call me. Jackass. That's okay. I like Squib. He's a good guy. He also said he got to shoot suppressed, and that's when I told a little story of I got to shoot suppressed yesterday. Pomade had a little Ruger 22 with a suppressor. That was neat. It's just, that's the one thing when people say, "Oh, the movies get it wrong." When you shoot a little suppressed 22, it is pretty much like pachoo pachoo. I mean, there's no noise at all. A little subsonic 22, you're good to go. So, is it in 8 minutes? Are we about to wrap up here or what?
Oh, no, I haven't gotten the email, so I guess it's in an hour. So, and then sometimes when you get invited to these things, they never call you back or send back an email or send you a link or whatever, so we'll see. This first time I've been on with them, so I'm not sure how they do it. I hadn't had an email in a couple of days, but we'll go on to the next thing. Did you type that in there? Warcraft?
I did type it in there. I know it's not really a gun movie, but I just watched it for the first time the other day, and I think it's a really good movie. So I don't know if anyone else out there has seen it. Warcraft. I guess it's kind of based on the video game, but like not really, because the video game's like a strategy type thing. But it's got humans and elves and orcs is the biggest thing is between the humans and the orcs. The orcs come to the world and start eating people and whatever, and it's a big fight. But just like the visuals on it and like I think they did a really good job. It's a sci-fi fantasy kind of thing. I guess, yeah, fantasy would be the right word. But
it's one of those, like, it looks like the computer, like they're doing the animation. It looks like computer game.
Well, no, it's live action, but there's it's real people, but there's obviously a lot of CGI with the giant things walking around or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But I think a lot of it was, honestly, I bet you a lot of it was kind of makeup. Like when they zoomed in on some of the things, like it just seemed like really good special effects. I don't know, maybe it was CGI. It doesn't feel computery at all, though. Like when you see the things, you're like, oh yeah, that dude's got giant horns sticking out of his head. Like that makes sense. It just looks like it fits.
Do you need to know anything about the stupid video game to be able to watch the movie and know what's going on?
Not at all. No, you can just jump in and it's a fantasy movie. Lots of fights and stuff. It's just a big epic fantasy movie. Wizards and magic and crap.
Swords and princesses and magic wands.
Yeah, basically.
Well, and this is more of a movie that just happens to be named and maybe
right. I mean the characters or whatever, I guess, are kind of based off the video game. But like I said, the video game doesn't really have like a big plot or something. Like it's not like they're taking a storyline, because the video game itself is one of those where you build a village and you train people and you just like attack the other ones, right? It's a real-time strategy. And it's got nothing to do with the movie, basically. So I don't know. Like I said, I liked it. I figured I'd put it in there since there was nothing in there. Although there were what do they call it? Boomsticks. They like the humans had like just invented the boomstick. So I guess it's a gun movie. Because there's like one scene where they use some type of like blunderbuss type thing.
Well, it's weird because I was looking around for something to watch when I was doing some computer work here the other day, or last night, I guess, and I typed in full movie into YouTube because sometimes when somebody puts in a full movie, they'll type that in there. So I typed in full movie and it found a bunch of stuff, mostly stupid stuff, and something called Injustice, which is like Superman and Batman. You seen this? So I guess it's a video game. So I think what it is when you play a video game, it has like scenes, and then this was just all the scenes put together without the video game.
Oh, all the cutscenes? That's pretty cool.
So it was kind of like
a cool concept of doing.
Yeah, it was kind of like a movie. So I watched that, and then I watched another one that was what you just said, except the space version of it, Spacecraft.
StarCraft.
And then
Zerg Rush! Watch out for the Zerg Rush!
Yeah, exactly. So it was the same kind of thing. It was like the pieces of a video game all stuck together, and it's like 3 hours long. So it's good for what I was doing, where I like to just have something on like the radio, or like, I don't know, there was no chats going, I guess. So, but there was guns in this. StarCraft?
Yeah.
There was guns in that one. Not really in the Superman one. Anyway, so I guess that's 3 video game movies you get to choose from. You can watch mine free on YouTube. Just type in full movie, and there's a whole bunch of them in there. And I don't know, where'd you see that one at? Movie theaters, or is that like on Netflix?
No, I saw it on HBO or Cinemax or something.
Oh, it's old then?
It's not super old. It's a few years old, but I mean, it's out now. Like, it's on TV. I'm sure you could rent it for a couple bucks or whatever. I don't know. It might even be on like Netflix or Amazon or whatever. I don't know. But
yeah,
I really like the idea though of putting together all of the cutscenes from a video game. I think that's a neat idea.
Yeah, I watch it on YouTube. There's a whole bunch of them, I think. So normally we try to come up with a gun-related movie to talk about, and anybody that wants to suggest some. I think I've recommended it before, but I went into Blockbuster when I quit there a long time ago, and I did the same thing when I quit on Netflix. You can go into your history of movies you've watched and just copy and paste that into a spreadsheet, and then you've got a list. I think I had hundreds, there was a bunch of movies, and then I just went through that list and found all the ones that were gun related that were cool, and that's what we started the show with, and that lasted for a long time. So anybody that's looking for ideas and you're looking for a way to gather a bunch of them without having to type, that's one way to do it. Go to your Netflix or your Amazon View history and just edit out all the ones that are gun movies and send us that link. We'd appreciate it. It gives us stuff to talk about. I'm sure we're going to be hitting movies over and over at some point here. We've been doing this show now for almost 400 episodes. So there aren't going to be too many movies that we've never talked about before, but there's some certain movies that we want to talk about on a regular basis. And then, some of them are definitely worth talking about again. And perhaps we'll do, start adding in maybe, or putting out a call for movies that suck so bad. We want to like tell people to watch out for them. Like, do not watch this one, it's so bad. That might be a service for people just as much as telling them about ones that are good.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. I'm getting a lot of hate over on the YouTube side, man. I'm not as big of a nerd as all you think I am, apparently. But anyways.
Yeah.
Want to do the gun shop? I saw one you just posted up on Instagram like the other day or something. You want to do that one?
No, Dano. I want to do them in my order and not the
Okay.
order you want to make me do them in.
Okay, I that's why I said it askingly. Jesus, don't call me Dano. I don't give a crap what you do.
So now I got to go figure out which ones they are. So they're going to be going up onto the YouTube, and then we'll be doing them over here. I just got to be careful I don't start doing them out of order, and then I'll screw up my order or whatever, right? So yeah, I got one all queued up here. This will be a shop that is our gun shop of the day. Can you hear it? Can you hear it?
Next up on the Gun Show Loop.
Oh yeah.
This is a very large gun shop and shooting range in Pine Top, Arizona. Pine Top is up in the White Mountains, northeast of Phoenix. Lots of hunting and fishing, skiing, other outdoor activities up there. So if you're ever in that area, there's lots of shopping and restaurants in the Pine Top area there. And a great place if you're going to drop everybody off to do some shopping for the day. The Hub would be a great place to go spend some time. You can see it's a very large building, so they have some room for displays. They're all well marked, so you could really spend some time just browsing the displays there. It's quite an experience. Of course, their items for sale, their inventory of items for sale is huge. I'd say easily as much as a small, even a medium-sized big box store. So definitely a lot of items for sale if you're looking to compare or browse. Lots of stuff to do that with. Plenty of staff. They were all very courteous and helpful. So I'd say it's definitely worth the time to check out the shop. This was all photos from the main store there, but if we went around the corner, we'd be at the range, and they have an indoor range there. You can see a couple of the bays as well as the waiting area. So this is another of the gun shops on the Gun Show Loophole Tour. We encourage you to check out the tour over at gunshowloopholetour.com. Follow us on gun channels and here on YouTube. Thanks for watching.
The guys and gals at gun websites encourage you to.
Cool. So that was the Hub.
Yeah, so it's a place called the Hub, and it's what is going on with my computer? So it's in the White Mountains, which are north and east of Phoenix and Tucson.
Someone was asking towards Prescott.
Nope, Prescott is north and west. So this is north and east towards New Mexico, and then everything north in Arizona is reservation. So it's as far north as you can go, and not not need an invite to be on the reservation. So now I am opening up. Here we go. I got the pictures here. We can screenshot or we can screen share and go through the pictures. There we go.
I like the idea that you shot that little video, because that you're able to see all of it, and it doesn't take as much time to have all the pictures also. That was a good video.
So you're saying you don't want to look at all these pictures because that takes too much time?
No, that's not what I said. I'm saying for maybe some people that maybe they want to do it and they don't feel like taking all the time, they could just do a pan with a video and then they're done.
Oh, I see. Yeah, go a little slower. So it's kind of cool. There's, as you walk in, you walk in the front door. This is what you see to your left. You can see a lot of display stuff up here, cool stuff and whatnot. And then obviously a lot of product. You see this very large fishing lure? That's how big the fish are in Arizona. That's a standard size fishing lure for Arizona.
Very cool.
So this is if you took a look to the right, and you can see it's a pawn shop, but they've got mostly guns. And took a couple of shots of the stuff up there. This gives you an idea how big the gun area is. Some of this gun stuff. I don't know if you could see, there was a SKS here with a 30-round mag jammed in it. Nagant, apparently short Nagant with the folding stock bayonet on it. Bunch of black powder stuff. It's a hunting area. All kinds of accessories. Got a 50 up on the wall. Full 9mm AK looking Century thing. I forget how many. I think it says somewhere how many guns they have in inventory. And this is, again, this is like 2 hours north of Phoenix and 3+ hours from Albuquerque, probably 3 hours something from Flagstaff and 3 hours from Tucson. So it's not like it's next to anything. And look at the amount of suppressors they have there for sale. That's kind of cool to think about, like a shop that's basically in a ski town or a hunting and fishing town would have such a demand for cans. It's awesome. And you could expect to see a lot of bolt actions and shotguns and stuff, maybe even lever actions. A lot of optics, a lot of black powder, gunpowder and stuff for the reloaders. Are these things all AR-15 diapers? Or is that something else? I can't tell.
I have no idea.
And I thought this was neat. So if you are going to hang out there for a day, because this, like I say, is there's basically one street in town, and it's mostly restaurants and like boutiques and art galleries and stupid shit. So this would be the kind of place if you were going to drop everybody else off to go shopping and waste a whole day, then you could go here and spend some time just eyeballing all the cool shit. And it's a big enough store. You're not like in the way or nothing if you're just sitting here like looking at each one of these things or whatever. It's like that's a private collection up there. Have you been seeing these Smith displays? I mean, these SIG displays around? I've been seeing them more and more.
Yeah, I have. That place I went down in Indiana had like 4 or 5 SIG cabinets. Like they had a whole area that was all SIG.
So this thing was a flag that they had like shellacked or something. I don't know if I like that or not. So it's all wavy, and then, but that's really just a flag underneath of all that. And then it was all, you know, it's like fiberglass or something. So it's in that position, period. And then I guess they got it given to him by somebody. Took this picture for Dano, but he ain't here. I didn't see any coffee, but I didn't look all around. And then lead-free range. So you shoot into these things, which the copper, solid copper, pre-fragmented copper just powders into. And then they use these cables, which I thought was kind of surprising, instead of tracks. And that's the other bay.
Well, so they have a decent amount of lanes there then.
They do. It looks like 6 and then 12. You have to use their ammo. It's a lead-free range, so you have to use their copper projectiles.
Yeah, that can get a little expensive.
Yeah, and they had some memberships. One of their memberships was like $500, and that made your rental $5. And then I guess I have the booklet right here. Then you go to, you have to get to their next level of membership. So their first level of membership is $200, and that you still got to pay $5 every time you go at $200 a year. If you go to $400 a year, you don't have to pay for the range anymore. But you have to go to $400 a year to get range time for free. I think that's a little pricey.
That's a bit expensive.
They have a $600 executive platinum. They have a $1,200 executive titanium. They have a $1,000 corporate, and I think another one, and then some other just prices. But yeah, that's not inexpensive to be a member of that range. So maybe I'm not familiar with the town or something. Maybe there's something that goes on there where very rich people go there that I'm not aware of, and that would explain some of the stuff they have for sale too. Maybe rich people live up there or something, like run their businesses from up there. Anyway, it's a big place, and I saw this thing here that says after hours, so it looks like at least with that membership you can go in when the store's closed and still get access to that sweet range.
Well, that at least makes it a little bit more worth it.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea they call it, corporate membership and stuff, because that's telling me that, business people are like taking their clients out shooting or something. I think that's neat.
If I was going to pay that kind of money, I'd want there to be a helicopter pad on the roof so I could fly my helicopter into the roof and then go down, shoot, and then fly away because I don't want to wait in line. But anyway, I thought this was pretty cool. They were really down, I normally go into a place that says, okay, but take some pictures. They were like, sure, go ahead. Didn't care about why or nothing. And then, just chatted with me a little bit and got some information about the range or whatever, handed them a patch. I'd already figured out to hand them patches, and they were like, wow, that's cool, thanks. So anyway, yeah, it was a really good visit, and I'd highly encourage anybody that happens to be up in the Pine Top area to check it out. All right, now let's close that without deleting any pictures, ideally, and that takes us, where'd my stuff go? Over here. We did the movie of the day, we did the gun of the day, we did the gun shop of the day. We're done. We fulfilled our obligations, I believe.
You're welcome.
Looks like I just got my link to Hank Strange's thing over there, so I'll put a link out here to his show over on the YouTube. I never actually watched his show, so I'll just go into it cold. But that's what it's all about, right? Doing it live.
I'll say I've I've seen his show. He had Mike Deddy on one time.
Yeah, him and Mike are good friends. He's been out here
So-
and film stuff in Tucson a couple of
I
times.
remember watching him on that, and then that was like right around the time the first time I got to talk to Mike. So like I watched him on that, and then you had him on. I think it was like an Every Second Matters like the month after or something. So that was pretty neat. But that's the only time I've watched the Hank Strange show.
Enrique says he's watched it and it's a pretty good show.
Well, it'll be awesome tonight because you're going to be on it.
Maybe. I don't know. I think he wanted me to talk about AKs, so I'm not sure what he's got in mind. But I guess we'll find out. So I guess with that, today is Friday. So that means Edge will be on tonight, Edge of the Week. And Clover Tack does his Friday show. And I know he said something about some T-shirts, but I think he was, unless he's heard something from Yankee, there might be something about a knife over there too. So you might want to check out that show. Tony's saying that Hank's a good guy, or Hank's pretty cool. I met him at SHOT Show, and just briefly. So I have met him before, but we didn't really get to talk too much. Well, I'm not worried about doing too fine. I just don't want to embarrass the show or whatever, but I guess we'll find out. That's it. Do we want to do a scheduling show tomorrow for this show?
Oh, yeah, I might be around.
We didn't do one last
Trying to
week.
think.
I feel like we have been neglecting the schedule here, and it makes it kind of clunky. It's not that difficult to go in and schedule it, and it does make it flow a bit easier when it's all figured out.
Yeah, it's I should be around sometime during the day tomorrow.
Okay, so stay tuned for that. If you are participating on the Patreon, you'll get a link over there. Everybody's encouraged to watch the show, of course, give us some suggestions, and we'll schedule the show out for a bit and fill out some of the gaps we've got. And then, oh, okay, so Pink says he might do a chat tonight too, so stay tuned on the Gun Channel side to do some kind of, I don't know, video game? No, is that animes, cartoons, chat, Gundam, which he says is better than Robotech. I guess Pink got screwed. Matt said he was going to do it today, and then he didn't do it today. He did it yesterday because of Night Strike. Heard it was Night Strike's doing.
Oh, that Night Strike guy can't be trusted.
He said, I'm not doing it on Friday. So that coerced Mike and Matt to do it yesterday.
Well, something else we were kind of doing the schedule there. Don't forget about Caliber Corners on Saturday morning. Rick's Life as I See It, 3 o'clock Saturday. And I don't know, Yankee and Matt do like their question and answer ones or whatever.
That's true.
I think Sunday morning or something.
Yoder, Texas usually posts the Come and Talk It show out of Texas on Sundays.
Yep. And then we'll be back Monday with the early watch and then our show Monday evening.
Yep.
So I didn't look at the notes. Is there a quote in here? Because I saw one earlier today that I think's pretty good.
No, Bob doesn't put any quotes in here.
Okay. Well, if you don't mind, I'd like to do this quote then.
Well, I'll just say then that tomorrow is Saturday, and that will mark the anniversary of the first Kent Perry NRA national match a long time ago. I don't know the exact date, but that's happening over the weekend. Okay.
All right, cool. So if that wraps it up, then I'll just say thanks everyone for watching and listening, and like, share, subscribe, thumb us, all the good jazz. Send us emails if you got stuff to say, whatever. And I'll go ahead and read this quote. This is actually from Eleanor Roosevelt. Pit race against race, religion against religion, prejudice against prejudice, divide and conquer. We must not let that happen here.
Guys and gals at gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching gunwebsites.com.